I know there are teams that are worried about technological challenges. And yesterday there was a GM that said to me, hey, there may be an IT guy who's worried about coming into my house to get it outfitted because IT guys now become the most valuable guys in the organization for the next 2 weeks. And the IT guys may be worried about going into a head coach's home or a GM's home. So there's concerns there. And there's also the concern I had last week. One GM said to me that his internet went out at home. Can you imagine if a team was on the clock and the internet went out and he couldn't turn in his pick? There are a lot of scenarios to think about that we're just beginning to see here, but we know it's going to be unlike any other draft that we've ever seen.
It is fascinating. We have a GM coming up in a few minutes. Tom Telesco from the Chargers. We'll ask him his thoughts, and Schefter will get you back off the top of the hour. Thank you. I want to bring Nick and RC back in here because our original plan for today was we were going to have Mel Kiper on, and he was going to talk about some of the things that he sees at the top of the draft. And with all these things that have happened, we weren't able to get Mel in here. But RC and Nick, I wanted to bounce off you one of the primary points he was going to make. I'm quoting Mel Kiper now. That based upon these circumstances and teams' inability to get a hands-on and up-close look at Tua Tagovailoa, that he, Mel, is not convinced that Miami is going to take Tua at 5 and that it is possible that Justin Herbert becomes the pick at 5, that Herbert may wind up ahead of Tua based upon the circumstances. Nick, your thoughts?
The more I think about this, I think it's a mistake on passing for Tua, and it's absolutely a mistake if you draft Herbert at that spot. I think Herbert has some skills and could grow into a quarterback, but he's not a number 5 overall. And everyone talking about how risky it is to take Tua, like you're committed to maybe $10 to $12 million in guarantees. That's nothing compared to what some teams have committed to quarterbacks, frankly, who are not nearly as talented as Tua is, including like Ryan Tannehill, a guy like that who has $91 million committed to him. So I don't think it's as huge a risk. I understand he might get hurt, but then you've set your franchise back maybe a year, maybe 2 or 3. It's not the same as committing really big money to someone like Nick Foles, who has $50 million guaranteed. Like, I don't think it's a huge commitment to go for Burrow, and I think going for Herbert at 5 over Burrow would be a huge mistake.
Okay, and then the other piece that Mel was going to bring up here, and RC, I'll bounce this one off of you, is that based upon their inability to get a closer look at Tua and other teams now less likely to trade up, that he feels like Chase Young to Washington at number 2 becomes essentially a lock. In your mind, is that the best outcome for Washington either way?
It absolutely is, because it's the player we know the most about. This guy has been dominant since entering Ohio State as a 5-star, and he just got better and better. And now look at the 2 guys who left before him, the 2 Bosa brothers. From most of what everybody says and what we've seen on film, Chase Young is more athletically, naturally talented than both of those guys. Listen, in a situation like this, you go for what you know. If I'm going to leave my house right now and get something to eat, I'm going to go to a place that I know is going to cook that food right, because I've seen it, I've tasted it, and I know that. And that's what we've seen with Chase Young. Right now, Tua Tagovailoa, he's too much of an outlier. You know, with Chase Young, you have a player for over a decade that will dominate. You make that pick. You've already gone out and got Kyle Allen. Don't clutter your room or your quarterback room taking a quarterback that you may not know how available he'll be.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We have created a world where the quarterback, they are the most important player, but not the only one that matters. It does seem like it's going to go that way. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.